All right, Thanksgiving week, spread and bread. Wednesday. This is what 20 years ago we would be out partying right now, with coming home from
You know,
college, right?
I was thinking of that with the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and I do know some college freshmen, and they are doing what you think they're doing.
I don't know how. Okay, so you're from Three Lakes, which is
I
how
am.
big? How big? How many people?
Yeah, 1,000 people graduating class of 54.
Okay, so when you went back to Three Lakes from college for Thanksgiving, it was Wednesday night. Did you
Oh
just
yeah.
did you know everyone there? Like everyone was just out on
Oh yeah.
downtown?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there were a couple bars that were kind of the go-to bars, and it was a big night.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's big everyone. It's interesting because I'm from Appleton, so there was 2 high schools when I graduated. Now there's 3, obviously.
Yeah.
But you're talking classes of 500 people, so we're all downtown. I mean, there's downtown Appleton's a little bit different than downtown Three Lakes. So I was just curious if it's just the same everywhere. It's just everyone's out partying. All the young kids are out partying.
Yeah. I mean, it was a big point to connect, and for me, it was like I left and came back, and I got earrings now, and I'm a lot of people changed, and it's amazing how much people can change in 3 or 4 months when you go from high school to college.
You mean how much weight people can gain?
Yeah, and yeah, trust me, I've already seen a couple that left. That graduated this year that left and came back, and it's like, whoa, yeah, I know what you've been doing.
We still are our high school friend group. We still kind of have a little text chat here and there, and every Wednesday of this year, right before Thanksgiving there's a text. Are we going out? Biggest bar night of the year. Are we going out tonight? Are we going downtown? And everyone's joking, but it would take 2 people to be like, yeah, let's go downtown, and then everyone would fucking go downtown.
Yeah.
But we're not.
So when's the last time that actually happened?
Jesus, I don't know.
More than 10 years.
I would have see, my life goes in increments of from my marriage to divorce to I'm trying to think. I don't know if we ever went down when I was divorced. That's fucking 15 years. It's got to be over 10. It's got to be over 10 years. I have no idea. Wow. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be a fun night to go out. I mean, I'm not going to, but it would be a fun night to go out and do that. Just because it is such a fun night of the year. But here we are.
Yes.
In our houses.
Kids and responsibilities.
Yeah. Still beer at the house.
Yeah, that's true. It's cheaper.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk state football before we get into NFL.
Yeah.
Because there was we wanted to talk a little bit about 2 pieces. So I don't think we're surprised that Kimberly won, right? I mean, it was a close game.
No. It's been a long week, like last Wednesday, the Packers played Thursday last week. So a lot of stuff has happened since. No, I am in no way surprised that Kimberly won. The fact that they had a new coach, I think, made that a little more difficult. And I think at times, I watched every game for the most part. You watched every game for the most part. And they were not, a really crisp team, if you know what I'm saying by that. It didn't look pretty a lot of times. Yeah. Even some of their FEA games the teams played them close. They lost to Fond du Lac. And there were other teams. I think Appleton East hung in there with them for a while. They won a really ugly game against North. So it was one of those where, coming into the season, I knew they had the talent. You clearly had the skill positions defensively, just a ton of talent at the skill positions. And so it doesn't surprise me that they eventually won. Aguanago, good team. And they have some young talent. And really that game almost seemed like whoever had the ball last was going to win. And I know Aguanago had it with, a few seconds left, but I think at that point, Aguanago managed that situation really poorly, and they're a running team. With 26 seconds left on the clock, they didn't have any hope. But
yeah, as you just said, as I'm looking for this, I got to find the box score. Do you know how many times they ran? I was just curious about I should say this. How many times did they roll?
I'm going to say 50.
So how many times do they throw, I guess, is the better question.
6 to 10.
Wow. 14 for 18.
Yeah, that surprised me because it just felt like they ran the whole game.
And Kimberly threw less. Seth was 10 for 17. Wow. Was that the same game we watched?
I think probably most of our focus was on the second half, which is very, very run heavy. Very run heavy.
Kimberly rushed 38 times. Blake Berry 33 fucking rushes.
Yeah.
That's insane.
4 touchdowns, tied a state record, I believe.
And then so McGuanago rushed 33 times, 14 and 13 their main back, and they were missing their all. I'm assuming who's going to be their all-state running back. I mean,
the running back that played was a sophomore and not a big kid, but boy, he played really well.
Yeah, they're two running back. I mean, what is it? Herbig and Radobicki.
Yeah.
So they each carried 14 and 13. Yeah, I wish that what was the kid that got hurt? I'm thinking like Stang or something like that. Stang?
Yeah. I'm not real familiar with them, but
you wonder like what the game would have been like.
Sure.
He got hurt in the second player. I think he had 2 carries and he got hurt, but
yeah.
Okay.
And again, I couldn't help thinking about during that game, like Nina was up on Kimberly 28-14. And not to, if any Nina person ends up watching this or listening to this, I don't want to bring up bad memories, but
it's a bad memory.
Had them.
It's a bad memory.
They had them.
Yep.
And I can relate. They had them and they just needed to finish, and everything went wrong for Nina and everything went right for Kimberly. And they just found a way to get it done. And really it was after it was that fourth quarter really against Nina. And then after that Kimberly team played like how I thought they'd play all season.
Yeah. All right. So we wanted to talk about 2 specific plays. I wanted to talk about it. And I think I told you about it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Kimberly goes and they score and they're up 27-23. And at this point, before this, McGuanago had missed an extra point. So technically, it could have been 27-24 or whatever, but they're 23.
Yeah.
Kimberly goes for 2. And I think you and I both were like, what in the fuck are you going for 2 for?
Yeah, I did not agree with that decision in that circumstance. I think I didn't understand what the purpose of going for 2 was in that spot, because depending on the circumstance, if Kimberly would have had to kick a field goal by missing out on that 1 point instead of tying the game, they could have won it.
Yeah. Yep. That's what we talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I don't know. I didn't necessarily agree with that decision. I do understand what you're trying to do there, but I don't agree that that's the right decision.
So I think I had someone text me who is a friend of mine that has a coach in the family, whatever, and said, hey, they also said that they should have gone for 2 there. And so I start playing it out in my mind, like, okay, so because at this point there's like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's not like there's not a lot of time left. There's 8 minutes left.
Right.
And I'm trying to go, okay, well, let's say if they go for 1, then they get 28. So then that means maybe that McGuanago can kick 2 field goals and win it 29-28. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a fucking 1 possession game per team. Like, that's why the decision is wrong. Like, I don't give your fucking chart is wrong. Like, your chart doesn't tell you that there's 8 minutes left in a game where everyone's running the fucking ball.
Right. Yeah. And again, in a high school situation, I completely agree with you. 8 minutes, that's 1 drive in that kind of a game. Because McGuanago, if they get the ball back with that much time, and they did go down.
Yeah, that was what ended up happening. I mean,
they went down to score.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I didn't agree with it. I think, you have to consider the situation in the game and the flow of the game.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Which your chart does not do.
Yeah. The flow of that game, in my opinion, made that the wrong decision.
Yeah. So I don't want to sit here and say that we're smarter than high school coaches, whatever. But like, so my friend texted me this, whatever. I said, well, tell whoever that he's wrong, because like, it's not the right move. You have to look at flow of the game. You can't just look at a chart and go for 2. It's like, dude, you knew they were going to get the ball back. They were going to run, and they were going to run for 6 fucking minutes, which they did. And then they scored. And you put yourself in a position where you might have only been able to tie the fucking game when you could. Now they scored a touchdown, it's irrelevant, but like, I thought that was so blatantly such a bad call. And and it's not like there was other people that I was texting too that were like, I don't know what the fuck they're going for 2 for.
Yeah. And so I think based on what I could tell, they clearly had a play that they felt like really was going to work. And I think Seth kind of floated it a little bit and the linebacker undercut it. You know, if the linebacker doesn't undercut it, he's wide open and it's easy too. But he didn't. He floated the pass, and there's an athletic kid standing there who made a really nice play on it. So I mean, you got to have a play that's guaranteed to work in that situation, or you're putting yourself in a really awkward spot in a game like that by doing that. So yeah.
I mean, I think I think you need a really good play, but 2, I think it just needs to make sense. Like you know what I mean? Like if you're going to go for 2, everyone needs to go, yeah, but this makes sense. You go for 2 in this spot. I think I would assume more than half the people watching. And again, I'm not going to say we're smarter than other people, whatever. We were in this position, but like, I think like you just have to, yes, obviously it's a spot for 2. This was not an obvious spot for 2. A chart apparently must have told you it was an obvious spot. Maybe with 4 minutes left in the second quarter, it was an obvious spot to go for 2. It was not the way the game was going. And it played out that way. It was not a good decision. Again, it was irrelevant, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I really feel like it almost struck me as, no, let's go for 2 here. We've got this play that we feel you know, we practiced it all week and we really feel like it's going to work in this spot. To me, it seemed more like they felt so confident in that play and that's why they did it, as opposed to feeling like, well, this is the right move in this situation. I feel like they were overconfident in that.
Yep. Okay. And then the second thing that surprised us, I wanted to say this first. I should have prefaced this. I've done podcasts for, I think I'm probably going on 5 years. And I talk a lot of high school basketball, and I never talk about coaches' decisions like I am now about football. And it's mainly because I don't have a kid on the fucking team. And I don't know the coaches, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking to myself, shit, I'm going to have to like kind of start criticizing high school coaches here that I know because my kids have played whatever. I just thought it was kind of weird. I'm like, I would never have done this with Kimberly, but it would have affected my kids. It doesn't affect my kids.
Yeah.
All right. So McGonigal has the ball with under a minute left. We know they got to go like 80 yards, whatever.
Yeah.
And they run a play action.
It was, even if that play works, which I don't understand it almost to me seems like they've only got like 4 pass plays and 3 of them are play action.
Yep. Right.
So they don't even know how to me, that strikes me as in your offense, you don't even have a standard, just take the snap, look and find the open guy.
Yeah.
All of your pass plays are based on play action.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation for that.
It was like
nobody thinks you're going to run.
Right. Like you were on like your own 30 or 40, like, right? I thought.
I mean, they were
20 seconds left. I wrote 20 seconds left.
I want to say they were on their own 20.
Okay. Yes, but they were. I mean, you needed like 40, 50 yards, whatever.
Oh yeah. I mean, so no one thinks you're running there, and if you do run, you're going to waste a bunch of time.
Right. Yeah.
That you need. You have to throw. You have 3 timeouts. So when they came out, I'm sitting there going, okay, in a high school game, it's not the pros. In a pro situation, 26 seconds with 3 timeouts left.
It's a long time.
And they were down by 3?
No, they would have been down.
Or were they down 4?
34-30, I'm assuming, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So still at that point in a pro game, you can probably get to a point where you're throwing a Hail Mary from the 40 with 3 plays. You got Patrick Mahomes or something like that. So I get it's not like that. But to me, with 26 seconds and 3 timeouts left, you got a chance to run probably 4 plays. And, maybe.
Yeah.
The kid, gets a first down, immediate timeout, 20 seconds left. Complete a pass, immediate timeout, 15 seconds left, or 14 seconds, let's say. Complete a pass, 5 seconds left. So 4 plays. At least that gives you an opportunity. Play action gives you wastes a bunch of time.
Yep.
It basically forces the quarterback to turn their back to the defense and turn around and look.
Yeah.
And it just seemed to me like there was only one option, and he threw it.
Yeah.
So it's a play action pass. The kid runs down the field. There's one option. He's got no check downs or anything.
Yeah, there's no reads, right? Yeah.
No, there's no reads. It's one guy.
Yep.
And he threw it, and Kimberly sat on it. It just was such a strange decision in that circumstance to not only have that happen, but then I don't know if you have any more comments about the play.
No, I don't. I don't know where you're going to go after this point.
Kimberly gets the ball then.
Yeah.
McGuanago still has 3 timeouts left.
Mm-hmm.
Kimberly runs and doesn't get a first down. McGuanago lets the clock run out.
Yeah.
It's the state championship game.
Yeah.
You are leaving the field with 3 timeouts
left.
They have the ball. You have no idea what could happen.
Sure.
Why would you not, for the sake of your team and everything you put into that, at least make Kimberly earn it in that situation? If Kimberly gets a first down and you only have a timeout or 2 left, then fine.
Right.
But they did not get a first down on that first play, and you had 3 timeouts left.
Yeah.
Use them. Why not use them? So there was some really odd clock management at the end of that game that I do think this is a kind of nitpicky stuff, but at the same time, I just don't get some of the decisions that were made toward the end. I mean, great game. I mean, a phenomenal championship game, back and forth. I mean, some really talented kids in the field, but just some funny stuff that went down at the end.
We talked about it before. I don't know. Maybe we talked about it with Conlon here. I don't know. I've talked about it before, and I'm not saying this specifically to these coaches in this game, whatever. But like, just because you are a head coach of something does not mean that you know everything.
Oh,
or
for
that
sure
maybe you didn't get this job because of some other thing. Again, I'm not talking about these two. I don't know these two coaches. I have no idea how these two coaches were hired like that.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying, I've talked about this forever. Corporate America, sports is no different than corporate America, where it is who you know and whatever. And just because someone is a CEO or whatever does not mean that they are the smartest person in the company or they know that they're doing more than anyone else. And it plays out on basketball courts and football fields all the time. Like it's just like, and we'll see it again. And I will talk about it again this year. I guarantee during my basketball podcast, there are going to be games where I'm like, what the fuck was this coach doing? Or were they, it's just, just because they have a job, a varsity job does not mean that they deserve a varsity job or that they're smart enough to be a varsity. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah. And I mean, we're also in a situation right now. It's so difficult to find coaches and everywhere across every level. But at the same time, I feel like coaches are often so much based on who they surround themselves with. So you're about to make a bad decision and your assistant steps in and be like, hey, we should call a timeout here, make them earn it. Like, you got to have people around you when you're about to make a bad decision that are going to step in and say, let's not do this. Yeah. When the offensive coordinator, or whoever's calling the plays from McGuanago says, let's run whatever play this is that includes play action. Somebody there, whoever hears that on the headset, would be like, we can't run that. You can't in that. Yeah. Don't call that. But, I know in the heat of the moment, whatever, because I've been in those situations, you know what should happen, and people do say things sometimes, and that's not always the way it goes. Sometimes that takes that advice, and sometimes the head coach ignores it. So,
right, I'm the head coach. I'll do what I want to do.
And I've been there, and I've also seen it where the head coach is like, "Oh yeah, I mean you're right. I should do this." Yeah. So, so I think my point there really is just surround yourself with good, other good coaches who are going to make good decisions and who are going to check you if you are about to make the wrong call.
And again, that goes for corporate America. That goes for everything in life. Like that's just not fucking sports. It's everything. Like you gotta,
Smart people surround themselves with other smart people.
Correct.
So Elon Musk needs smart people around him right now.
Okay.
All right.
Tomorrow, Thanksgiving games. Do we want to talk? Should we let's just flip it around? Sometimes we'll just flip it around. Since we didn't we went this rogue right away. We would have done this later. Let's start Packers. so that everyone can just get through the podcast and they can fucking turn the podcast off and not listen to our picks because our picks suck anyways.
Yeah, and I mean, it seems like so long ago that they played.
It does. It was almost a week. God, I don't even fucking remember. They lost. I don't even know how bad.
27-17.
27-17. Okay, I was gonna say 14. They lost by 10. Thoughts? Do we have any thoughts? I'm surprised that Derrick Henry didn't get 100 yards rushing.
No, I mean, defensively, clearly the objective was we're just going to shut him down. And if Tannehill beats us, he beats us, which he did. Yep. Tannehill, but I mean, guys were, I think I said in one of the texts, it's like he's got like a 20-yard by 20-yard window with these guys. Robert Woods, who hasn't done anything, is wide open. The rookie, I forget his name right now. What's that?
Treylon Burks.
Treylon Burks, wide open. He hasn't done anything. They had a game a couple weeks ago, the Titans did, where they I don't quote me on this, but I want to say they either had 0 or 1 completion to a wide receiver in the whole game.
I did. I heard that. Yes. Yeah, I know. Yep. I heard that too.
Yeah. And they looked like, the 1988 49ers running around out there with John Taylor and Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. I mean, like, guys wide open. So the Packers clearly sold out to stop Henry and did that effectively. I just feel like it put them in a weird spot offensively. And Aaron Rodgers is hurt. I mean, clearly his thumb is hurt. Some of the throws that
did you hear the news? Did you hear the news today or no?
I'm not sure.
Oh, that his thumb is broken. They confirmed it's broken.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me a bit.
Yeah,
and so and I know he's kind of re-injured it. I look at that or I hear that and I'm like, okay, well, at some point, when is the decision made that like your season's over and we just need to move on, and it's going to be a good opportunity to see Jordan Love to lose a bunch of games to get a high draft pick and just forget it, because it's a completely lost season. You had a window where you were 3-1 and you lost to the Giants and are now 1-6 since. And you've been exposed. Your defensive coordinator's been exposed. Your head coach has been exposed. Just so many things. But the Rodgers injury is hurting them. Possessions in the fourth quarter, and they got 1 first down. 4 possessions, 1 first down in the fourth quarter, because he couldn't hit wide open guys.
Yeah,
you got a broken thumb, and you're not willing to sit down. You're not Favre. It's okay. I don't think anybody in this situation. You got a broken thumb and it, after the Giants game, sit down. It's a lost season anyway. So we've had a couple seasons with him where he got hurt and the season's over. That's just the way it is. And he came back, he came back and was awesome and was an MVP in the 2 years following that. I still feel like the guy has a good skill set. And has shown some flashes this season, but he's hurt. And so, I just feel like that's really limited them. And I think other teams know it.
I don't know. I think previously when Rodgers would get hurt and they'd sit him down, obviously injury is worse, but like, I don't know. I think like Rodgers now knows that the end's kind of coming.
Yeah,
obviously. I don't think he has any plans on sitting out. I mean, I know I was reading a little bit on the broken thumb stuff. He's like, yeah, it's not anything that's going to keep me out. And it's like, would it have 5 years ago? I don't know, but this team's a disaster. It's not, the defense. So you're talking about how shut down Henry, but yet our corners can't cover, safeties can't cover. Like what?
Yeah. I mean, I think you're really seeing, Jair Alexander, who's the highest paid corner in the league. He's not a shutdown corner. He's too small to be that. Darnell Savage is awful. I mean, he is horrendous. And fortunately, he's in a contract year and he can walk. And it's like, please, like as soon as the season ends, like go away. Yeah. He's so bad. I kind of wish in the draft they would have taken a safety, knowing the circumstance, because he and Amos are both free agents. Mm. I like Amos a lot more. Amos has been a really solid player for them. Savage is awful. Douglas is not making plays, and Stokes is now, it's a huge free agent year for them in terms of a lot of guys. Your secondary level player, Dean Lowry, guys that play a lot are free agents. They got some decisions to make. Here's the thing though. Okay, so if they win, let's say they win 2 more games and they go 6-11 or whatever it would end up being. They'd have a pretty high pick. I think we come back going into next season. NFC North isn't any good. Vikings, having one of those kind of dream seasons right now, but I think they still come back under the best team in the division with the talent that they have, and with especially young talent. It's positive to see the things that are going on with Watson. He's clearly turned himself into a really, really solid player, playmaker. I think right now, 6-11, get a high pick, come back next year. I still feel.
You froze at the end there. You still think that they'll be good next year?
Yeah, I still feel like they'll be a good team next year.
New D coordinator?
Maybe, again, we talked about this. Only if you've got another guy in your back pocket that you feel like is going to be better.
Someone's got. I cannot imagine going this whole year with someone not like someone's got to lose their job. Something's got to change.
Yeah.
How do you run it through? How do you go through this year and then just like fucking run it back? I guess the thought might be like, well, look at what we did the last 3 years, but like shit changes. There's some stuff gets covered up because of talent and whatever in other spots, but
yeah, it's hard to imagine. And now I know Gary's out and Stokes is out or whatever. It's hard to imagine them being much more talented on the defensive side of the ball. I can't remember a defense really, and again, Campbell's out too, but in terms of total talent, they've got a really good, they've invested a lot of money and a lot of draft picks in that defense. There's plenty of talent on that side of the ball. It's just, they've been on the field way too much. They're tired, they're injured, and something's wrong with the way that they're scheming. It just doesn't look good, and it's getting worse.
Is there a chance that this defense is not as talented as we thought it was?
It's quite possible. Because if you'd asked me 2 years, it's quite possible, because you'd asked me 2 years ago if I thought Darnell Savage is going to be a good player. I would have said yes. He's regressed. He looks horrible. If Jair Alexander got highest paid corner in the league, he's regressing. So I think the potential was there, but you might be onto something that maybe there's not as much talent as we thought.
I don't know. I'm just like, I'm a basketball guy for more than anything. Like there's football stuff that I understand football, but not as much as you guys do. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I'm just wondering, like, does shit like this happen where guys like Douglas? I know interceptions are fluky, but like, is there? Douglas had been through 3 teams, and then he had an amazing last year, and then maybe this is who Douglas. Maybe Douglas just isn't good, and last year he had some fluky pick sixes, and and
he had a great pick again in the game on Thursday. That pick where he kind of came up and showed like he was coming up, and then darted straight back and picked it up. That's a great play. So I like him as a player, but I just think there's certain guys playing out of position. Savage has been playing more like slot corner instead of safety, because I don't think they trust him coming up to stop the run anymore.
Yeah.
So I think he and Douglas are kind of flipped positions a little bit. So I think you've got guys playing out of position. I don't think they're quite as talented, but I do feel like there's enough talent on that side of the ball. I really like, that Enigbare pick. He's a really nice player. I think he's going to be a nice compliment to Gary. He was a steal in the draft. So I think they're going to have plenty of talent coming back next year. It's a matter of, I really feel like the way they've set up is to play from ahead, not to play from behind like this.
Right. Yeah.
They're get up 14-0 and really take away certain parts of the game, and then just pin your ears back, make plays, force them to pass, get sacks, get interceptions. No team, especially in the last 7 weeks, has been put in that situation. Like the Jets game, just ran it down their throat. Why? Because the offense can't do anything, and they're running back out on the field. So I think there's just the whole team as a whole just isn't jiving. at this point in terms of the way everything has been set up. The whole thing is driven by the offense, and the offense stinks. I think the offense is worse than the defense. I'll say it. Ooh. And I don't think the defense is very good. The offense is awful. And again, yeah. I harped on this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to continue to say it. How's Sean McVay doing this year, Rams? They suck. Okay. And he's the guy where this whole tree comes from. And it's part of the larger like Shanahan tree or whatever. But, McVay absolutely sucks. And I think everybody's kind of figured that, him out in terms of how to shut down that offense. I get that, they've had their issues, but the Rams have a ton of talent on offense. My God, even without Cooper Kupp, they've got a ton of talent, and they suck on offense this year. And there's a couple of other coaches, and there was one in particular, and I can't remember now. Oh, the guy with the Bengals. Bengals offense struggling this year, tons of talent. He's also part of that tree as well. So I feel like the league in general kind of has caught up to this offensive scheme. And that's my concern is they jumped on a trend with hiring LaFleur. Like, oh, this is the new wave. This McVay's the new, not to overdo it, but the old 49ers coach, Bill.
Not Bill Walsh.
Yeah, the Walsh tree. So the Bill Walsh tree where Holmgren came from that, and all those guys came from that. And I think people try and jump on those trends with, who's the next guy, who's the next genius.
Sure. Yeah.
And obviously Bill Walsh. I was going to say Bill Walton. That would have been I'd be interested. Yeah, Bill Walsh, the Bill Walsh tree. People want to jump on that and jump on trends and get out ahead of this. And I feel like the Packers took advantage of it with 3 seasons of LaFleur and his offense, where they had a wide open window to get to the Super Bowl and missed all 3 times. And now I think it's caught up to him. Obviously, Rodgers is hurt, and that's not helping. Your offensive line has played terribly. What's wrong with Elgton Jenkins? He's absolutely sucked this year. And I don't know what's going on there. I think Bakhtiari looks like he's on the tail end. They had Royce Newman playing guard. He's been benched. He's sucked so bad. The offensive line has been terrible. And so those things are not helping. But I really feel like defenses are a step ahead of LaFleur right now. And in many ways they figured him out.
Yeah. All right. It's we'll see how I don't want him to win anymore. Do you? I just want him to just
just tank. At this point, just tank. It seems like a couple of the bottom feeder teams are still kind of staying competitive and winning games. So, even a 5-12 could put you way up there. I really feel like if you're somewhere between 5 and 10 and you can get, a big time playmaker, my guess is they'd probably go offensive or defensive line, which would be boring. But, you're going to get a great player in the first, second, third round. You're going to get guys that potentially you're going to be starters right away. So I feel like if they tank, they get some high draft picks, they come back next year and they got as good a shot as anybody.
Yeah. All right. Well, they are at Philly. Sunday night game. So we get to have an enjoyable Thanksgiving weekend, and then we end the weekend with the Packers at Philly. Philly is favored by 6.5.
What? Okay. So we don't need to talk about who we're picking in that. Well, how high would this number have to be for you to pick Green Bay?
Oh, okay. I was going to say, well, we do have to talk about who we're picking. Okay. So
there's no way I'm touching the Packers. Maybe not even the rest of the season.
What was the last time?
Maybe against the Bears.
I posed this question to you weeks ago. I can't remember what the game was. What would the number have to be where you would take actually Green Bay? Jesus. I think I would take Green Bay at 14, but not 13.5.
I was like in like the 15 or 16 range, so we were close.
I don't why. I mean, it's just the Dallas game must have clearly been whatever. It was our like middle finger to fucking McCarthy.
Yeah, I think that was more about Dallas just fucking up more
But
so.
I mean, hey, we came back from 14 down. Like that's
yeah.
You know, it's not like we didn't do anything. Like they played well. Like it was like people thought, oh, Green Bay's back, they're fine.
Well, and it's more, and that just creates more frustration than anything because clearly Dallas is good. They went to Minnesota and won 42-3.
Jesus.
So Dallas is a good team. So yeah, you came back on them. Dallas played really poorly in that game, but give them credit. But then there's just more frustration to be like, well, you can beat the Cowboys, but you can't beat the Jets. You can't the Commanders. You can't beat the Lions. It just adds to the frustration.
I thought about that. After they lost to the Jets, wasn't it like, oh, Zach Wilson's just to pick apart the Packers. Zach Wilson's pretty good. He's got fucking benched.
Got benched. Yeah, he's a clown. Absolute clown.
I mean, I don't know how this is. There's not a lot. There's some lines on here. I'm like, this is one. I'm like 6.5. You kidding me?
Yeah. So the answer to the question was to pick the Packers, you'd have to be about 14. I think I'd probably have to be about 16.
Yeah, I just think like two touchdowns to me seems like a fair number.
Yeah, because against Buffalo, what were the Packers against Buffalo?
10 and a half.
Yeah, and they covered that. So I mean, it's got to be at least double digits.
Yeah,
to even think about it, 6.5. Like, why?
Yeah,
So
and I know Philly's lost, and they came off barely beating the Colts, but
yeah, they played poorly. Green Bay never plays well in Philly. They're just
extra time, extra 3 days.
They, maybe they keep it close, but I don't trust them. I don't think Philly's playing great. Clearly, the last couple of weeks, I'm still taking Philly.
Okay. The early Thanksgiving morning game tomorrow. God, tomorrow morning's fucking Thanksgiving. That's insane to me.
Yeah, it is so fast. How many weeks is this then for the? Oh, we're 12. This is our 12th week.
Like 12. It's our lives are just just dying right in front of us. We're just old.
I can't wait for your pick in this game. And you want to know why? Because you love both of these teams. You love them. You have a love affair, and this is a love triangle right now between you and Buffalo and Detroit, and you've got to make a decision. This is like you're the Bachelor, and you got to give somebody a rose.
This was an easy. This was an easy pick for me.
Okay.
Buffalo is at Detroit. Buffalo is favored by 9.5. It's fucking Detroit. It's easily fucking Detroit. Even if Buffalo's up like 15, 14, I mean, Detroit can score. They can score. Buffalo's been a little whatever. Detroit can score. I think they will keep this within 10 points.
Okay. I'm taking Buffalo.
If it was 10, I'd be a little bit like, I'm gonna probably get a push here, but I'm taking Detroit because of the 9.5. And you got Buffalo.
Love the Lions. You love the Lions. That's why that's like a Lions unintentional shirt you got on.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that scares me that I think Buffalo's been in Detroit for the last fucking week or whatever, so I don't think they went back.
I'm taking Buffalo. I think this I understand Detroit plays fairly well on Thanksgiving as well, and maybe that leads to this, but yeah, no, I'm taking the Bills. Okay. What were we last week, by the way?
Oh, you were 7-5-2. I was 6-6-2.
Say it again. No.
You were 7-5-2, and I was 6-6-2.
Okay. All right. Well, hanging in there.
Yeah.
What overall season records?
I am 79-6.
Whoa.
I think there's some pushes I missed. So this is wins and losses are I shouldn't say it's fairly accurate.
Okay.
All right, 79-6. You are 70-88-6.
Okay, well, thank you 1-15 week for that. that is a hole to dig out of.
The next closest worst week was that week as well. I went 4-12.
Wow. Well, I mean, think about this season though. I don't blame us for that.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm taking Buffalo. You're taking Detroit.
Okay. Hang on a second, get my shit here. Okay, middle game is the Giants at Dallas. Dallas is favored by a whopping 10. Now I get it because they just won by 40, whatever, but they also just lost to the Packers.
Yeah, that's in a divisional game to me.
Yep.
I just, I got to think at least the Giants hang in there. I can see this being a 1-score game. I'm taking the Giants for sure.
Yeah, me too. I got the Giants. That's way too much for a shorter week with a conference game. I don't care that I know Dallas is at home, but that's just 10 points is fucking insane in a divisional game.
Yeah, traditionally Giants have played well in Dallas too. So,
yeah. All right, night game on Thanksgiving. We used to have 2 Thanksgiving games, right? Only 2. Now we have 3, correct?
Yeah, we're going on like 10 years though. The night
is it
game.
That fucking long?
Oh yeah, it's been a while.
Life is just, it's passed me by. It has passed me fucking by.
Yeah.
New England at Minnesota. Minnesota is favored by 2.5.
This is a tough one because obviously Minnesota played poorly last week. I'm gonna pass.
They played it all. I didn't know they played it all.
Yeah, I was awful, and then they put a porn star on the jumbotron.
Oh god, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you take this one to start because I need to think.
I don't. So I understand why Minnesota's. To me, I thought to myself this would be a bigger spread, right? Like if Minnesota and Dallas last week is close, this spread's probably 4.5, 5, 6, 7. I get why it's lower because they got fucking blown out and they now have a negative point differential. Yeah. They're still 8-2.
Yeah.
New England is probably one of the hardest teams to figure out this year. It's not like they played well last week. It was 3-3 before they got a fucking punt return. Like, why do I think that New England's going to fucking go on a short week and beat Minnesota, an 8-2 team on the road? It's 2.5. I'll take Minnesota because I just can't. I cannot see. Look, I shouldn't say this. I can see New England winning this game. I can, but I can't. And maybe it's this whole I hate Minnesota thing, and I want to be right. So if Minnesota loses, I'll be happy, and if they win, I'll be right. Most likely. Yeah. I just don't think New England's that good. I think Minnesota's better, and it's only 2.5. So
yeah, it's funny because New England can't score any points yet. The total is 42.5.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to score those points. I could definitely see New England winning. I had my streak where I just picked against Minnesota until they lost, and I finally got my way last week. I'm going to pick the Vikings in this one just because I feel like I just don't see it with New England. And clearly, Minnesota's got every reason to come out firing and trying to make a point here.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I think this should be a bounce back game for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only problem is it's prime time.
Yes, and Kirk Cousins' history is no bueno.
It's not good.
No.
All right. Well, I will say this: if they do not cover this or they lose, I'm done with obviously Cousins. We should be done with Cousins on prime time, but apparently we're not.
Yeah.
Jesus. Tampa Bay at Cleveland. Tampa Bay for some reason is favored by 3.5.
Yeah. Well, the Browns suck though. I mean, and Tampa has looked better. Go ahead.
The Browns should be, what's the record right now? 3 and something, 4 and something. They should have 3 more wins. They fucking legit pissed 3 games away by just fucking stupid decision making. Now I know they're not. Well, true. Well, okay, that gives you my pick. I'm taking Cleveland.
Yeah, and I want to take home dogs in this situation, and obviously it's tough picking Thursdays because you just don't know what weather is going to be like, because obviously weather could play huge with the way things have been lately. But I do think it's supposed to be fairly mild this weekend, at least around here. So I don't know what that means for Cleveland. They're not going to get 66.5 inches of snow like Buffalo did.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take Tampa here. I'm going to go against the home dog. Cleveland sucks, and I feel like Tampa's playing better, so I'm going to go with Tampa.
What's Watson's suspension? 14 games?
Yeah, I want to say it was the majority of the season.
Okay, so we'll see what I hope he comes back. I would like to see them. I'm not saying I want to see him come back. I'm just saying in a sense of in sports and football, I was like, let me just see Watson on this team.
That's still one of the most amazing trades in professional sports history, that Watson trade.
Well, I mean, as of now, but we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, the amount of money he makes guaranteed, and what they gave up in terms of draft picks, that just really shows you though the quarterback position.
Correct.
How
so
awful it is.
Correct. Right. But so let's say the next 3 years he's an MVP 2 years out of the 3.
Yeah, he could
worth every fucking penny of it, right?
He could be. He's still a dirtbag.
I mean,
he could be.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
True. All right. Speaking of home dogs, Tennessee. Was Tennessee number 2 or 3 in the AFC.
Yeah,
seed.
They're way up there.
And they're a fucking home dog to Cincinnati. Yep. Cincinnati is favored by 2.5.
Yeah, this one makes no sense. Yeah, there's no way I'm not going to take Tennessee here. Cincinnati's been totally erratic all season. They've underperformed. Tennessee, I think, has found their identity, which is to run the shit out of the ball and let Tannehill make plays if he needs to. I still don't feel like Tennessee is great, but Cincinnati is just has no identity and is not played consistent all season. So I'm taking Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, I will not be surprised if Cincinnati offensively, they obviously they got firepower. Is Mixon hurt? Is he okay, or what's up?
Mixon is hurt, and I want to say I don't know if he's out this week or not.
Okay, I mean, Pirine played fine last week, anyways. But
3 TDs. Yep.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if Cincinnati wins, but like, you can't give me. I'm not gonna. Why would I? It's we pick because it's like you got to pick smart plays, right? Like,
yeah,
getting fucking Tennessee with points at home is insane to me. But
yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah. All right. Second largest spread on the board. Miami is at home. They're favored by 13.5 over the worst team in the league, Houston.
I'll let you have this one.
So 13.5 is a ton. I don't think Houston's that bad. I mean, I shouldn't say that bad. They are that bad. Normally, I would take Houston. I would take the underdog because I'd be like, oh, they can score. They'll just get a backdoor touchdown and they'll cover the. If it was 14, it's a little bit different. It's 13.5. I don't think Houston can. Like, I just think Houston's one of those teams like, oh, we're down 20. All right, we're down fucking 20.
And I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong. Houston got blown out by the Commanders at home last week. Yeah. What was the score of that Houston-Washington game last week?
Was it blown out?
I want to say they got blown out.
What the hell is going on? I hate when ESPN. I go to ESPN.
Yeah,
and
that's fine. You can look that up. I'm going to take Miami here.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because I think they're going to jump on them, and one of my DFS picks is involved with Miami. So
23-10. So it was not a blowout. 23-10.
Not a blowout, but it wouldn't have covered this spread. But
well, it's fucking
Miami's,
Washington.
Yeah, right. And it was in Houston.
Correct.
Right. So now you're flipping to a much better team on the road. Who knows what the weather's going to be like in Miami? Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins.
Yeah, I got Miami too, obviously.
Yeah.
All right. This was a spread that was just kind of fucking weird to me.
Yeah.
Chicago is on the road, and Chicago has played. I mean, they've lost. I think they've lost 4 in a row, but they've been playing well. They've been scoring. They're at the Jets, who played one of the worst probably games fucking ever offensively.
Yeah.
And with a new quarterback now, and the Jets are favored by fucking 6.
Yeah.
Not like 3. Not let's just give them 3 for the home team. Fucking 6.
Now, is Fields still hurt?
Maybe he's out, and maybe that's why they.
Yeah, I have a feeling that might be playing into this because I think he may have separated his shoulder. I don't think he.
Oh, I didn't know that if that's the case, but
yeah, he got hurt last week. Look at the total on this game, by the way, 38.5, which is just gross for an NFL game.
It is? Jesus Christ.
So yeah, I mean, it's hard to trust either of these teams. Mike White, who's the guy that is stepping in for Wilson, is a decent player. I want to say there was a game where White played quarterback and beat the Bengals a year or 2 ago and threw for like 400 yards with 3 touchdowns. He's not a bad quarterback. He's going to be better than Wilson. It's hard not to be. The guy, they had like negative 21 net passing yards in the second half against New England. So that if you have positive net yards, you're going to take a step forward.
All right, I got Fields.
Yeah.
Non-throwing arm, separated shoulder with partially torn ligaments. He's planning on playing Sunday.
Yeah, well,
I'm surprised if that's the case, there shouldn't even be most of the times if yours an injury, they won't even throw a spread on it. They'll just you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm still gonna take the Jets here. I do think that number is too high. I think it should probably be more like 4, something like that. 4.5. But yeah, I'm still gonna roll the dice to take the Jets here.
All right, I'm taking Chicago.
Yeah. All right.
Atlanta on the road at Washington. Washington's favored by 4.5.
This one's so tough.
Isn't it? Love Atlanta. We both loved Atlanta, but then
we both have loved Atlanta and gotten torched by them. in the last couple of weeks. They have not played well. I'm telling you, Tyler Heinicke, I don't, it's funny. And I don't know if you remember this game. It was either a Sunday night game or a Monday night game. He was playing. Go ahead.
It's not Tyler Heinicke, is it?
Taylor Heinicke. You just
I fucking love it.
I gotta have at least one. Bill Walton, Brandon Jacobs.
Oh, that's great.
Taylor Heinicke.
Go ahead.
I like, he was a quarterback for the Panthers and came to Green Bay and played in like a December game. Panthers sucked at the time, and he almost beat the Packers in a year where the Packers had a really good team. I've always thought he was a really good quarterback. I've never understood why he's constantly been put in this backup role. I like him, and I think he's the reason that Washington is playing so much better. Every team in that division is about 500.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm going to take Washington here. I think they're a more complete team. I think Atlanta, Pitts went on IR. Atlanta seems to be getting just ravaged by injuries. I like the Commandos here.
You have said, I mean, everything makes sense, and I'm taking Atlanta.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know why.
It's where the players play.
Yes. Something else I don't know why is why are the fucking Broncos favored by 2 over anyone?
Oh, that was the other coach. That was the other coach, Hackett.
Oh,
Hackett is from the McVay to LaFleur. Hackett is one of these other McVay guys. Their offense is pathetic. I heard a stat the other day. If Denver scored 18 points a game for the season, they'd be 8-1.
No, I think I did hear that too.
That's all they would have needed to score on average per game.
Yeah,
they'd be 8-1. They suck.
Can you imagine if they were 8-1? That'd be the worst 8-1 team in the history of football.
Oh yeah, I mean that really shows you their defense is phenomenal though, and they're wasting that. With Hackett's offense, which somehow is more pathetic than Green Bay's offense, and more pathetic than the Rams' offense, and they're all running the same offense. I'm taking Carolina here for sure.
Yeah, me too. Hackett, another coach. Maybe he's not a head coach. Maybe he's just not good enough to be a head coach. It happens in every walk of life. Some people get jobs they should not. They're just in over their head on, and he's. Right. I think he might be in over his head. Right. Maybe in 5 years he'll be good. Maybe in 5 years he'll be a good head coach. Just not sure he's there now.
Yeah, and it really just shows you it's a very reactionary league. Packers won 13 games in a row for 3 straight years. Let's take whoever they've got.
Yeah, right.
That doesn't mean he's going to be a good head coach.
Yeah, well, and I obviously this has been beaten to death forever, but they hired Hackett because they thought they were going to get Rodgers, right? That was kind of the thought, is that we hire the coach, Rodgers' favorite coach, he'll come here, whatever. Another line, I just was like, what the fuck?
Sorry, if that's the case, that's pathetic.
Well, it is, but
Denver, get a freaking life.
I think that's exactly what happened, was it not? They thought that they would be able to get Rodgers.
So. It's like, wow, that's pathetic. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, no problem. Did Lamar Jackson die? Because Baltimore's only favored by 4 against Jacksonville.
Yeah. Well, it's home dog.
It's Jacksonville.
Yeah, they're bad.
Ooh, they didn't play. Did they play last week? Oh, maybe that's why they were on a bye. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, Baltimore's playing better.
Obviously, you know my pick.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jags.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Chargers at Arizona. Chargers are favored by 3. Who's coaching or who's? God, I keep on mix my words up. Who's quarterbacking for the Cardinals? Is Murray or is it McCoy? We know.
I know. I think Murray was close to playing last week. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't. No, I was just gonna say it doesn't fucking matter. No.
Arizona sucks. Chargers blew it against Kansas City.
Yep.
They were up a lot of that game. Again, home dog situation. The point total here indicates could be a fairly high scoring game. I'll take the Chargers. I hate Arizona. They suck.
I got the Chargers too.
Yeah. Arizona got hammered by the 49ers in Mexico City. They're a bad team.
And I can't stand the 49ers.
Yeah.
Vegas at Seahawks. Seahawks favored by 3.5. Just to let you know, Kashuta, The Raiders and the Seahawks are not in the same division anymore, just in case.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say divisional game that plays into it, but yeah. Back when Marcus Allen was toting the rock and Dave Craig was firing into Steve Largent. This was there's some bad blood from those days.
Yes.
Yeah. Still some bad blood. Go ahead. It's the Raiders. I'll let you take it.
Seattle, I believe, coming off a bye, right? I don't think they played last week, did they?
They played in the Germany game.
Oh, that's right. They played fucking Tampa.
Yep.
I went through these picks really quickly. I picked Seattle. I just don't. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the Raiders. It's always fucking something.
Yeah, and they won in overtime against the Broncos. But the Broncos suck.
Yeah, the Broncos suck.
And Seattle, I think, especially playing at home, the Raiders are bad. I'll take Seattle.
I think if I knew that the Raiders' game plan was like, we're fucking throwing to Adams every goddamn time, and when we don't, Josh Jacobs is getting the ball, I'd be like, fucking Raiders every day.
Yeah.
But it's like that never fucking happens. They just do random shit.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. There's way too much talent for them to be as bad as they are.
Yeah. All right, biggest line of the week. Kansas City is favored by 15.5 over what might be the worst team in the league, the Rams.
Which, again, coming off a Super Bowl.
That's insane.
Gosh, and I felt like they sucked last year, and I've said it multiple times.
Yeah.
That is a massive number, though. Do you
think
it's
huge?
It's a huge number.
Is it big enough?
I'm gonna. Oh God, the Rams are so bad. I'm on the fence. I'll let you take it.
I'm taking Kansas City, kind of like I took Miami. I don't think the Rams can fucking score. So even if like Kansas City gets up 21, which I think they probably will quickly, I don't think the Rams are just. I don't think they'll be able to fucking score. And I also think Kansas City doesn't give a shit about running scores up, and they'll go up fucking 40-3 at halftime and be like, we'll just keep fucking putting the pedal down.
Yeah, and there's a part of me that wants to take the Rams just because I feel like that number is so big. But you can't. I think the lesson of this season is you can't give in to what teams used to be. You can't get, like the Rams are bad. And so really there's week to week, I'd almost treat the Rams like the Packers. There's not a lot of reason to pick them. They can't score points. Cooper Kupp is hurt. My fantasy guy, which doesn't matter anyway. But the Rams suck. I'll take the Chiefs.
All right. New Orleans at San Francisco. San Francisco is favored by 9.5. God, I hate this team. I fucking hate San Francisco.
Yeah, I hate them too. And I feel like they've been really inconsistent this year. The 9.5 seems a tad high. Again, we're in that point in the year where weather can play so much into this, especially San Francisco, November. It could be nasty there. I'm going to take New Orleans here. I don't really know why. I just feel like they could probably keep it close just because they got a fairly decent defense. I think San Francisco's played well for a couple of weeks, so I think they've been really inconsistent, so I think they're going to have a clunker. I'll take the Saints. I
got the Saints too, for almost all those reasons. I think 9.5 is just a large number for San Francisco.
Yeah.
I will say this. I do forget that they fucking have McCaffrey. Every time I see him, like, oh, San Francisco fucking sucks. Shit, they got fucking McCaffrey.
Yeah, but, and I don't think he's quite the player he was. He's still solid, but he's just not as explosive. Which
the player he always was the player that he's always been hurt, right? He's always been hurt.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
All right, last game, Pittsburgh at Indy. Indy is favored by 2.5. We talked about the Saturday hire. Someone brought this up on a podcast. I can't remember who the fuck it was. And these football coaches go fucking nuts because Jeff Saturday gets hired.
Yeah.
And someone's like, did anyone look at the NBA where like they just fucking hire random fucking people that played basketball years ago and like, oh, we'll fucking hire Steve Nash. Let's fucking do this.
Jason Kidd, he'll be a great
no one
coach.
fucking cares. No one fucking cares. No one's like, oh, that's probably going to be a good hire. He was a point guard. He fucking knows how to help run a team. He knows everyone.
Yeah.
And everyone loses their shit on Jeff Saturday.
Yeah.
I love that in professional sports. Like it's two like most popular sports and everything that's going on right now. And two completely different point of views on this hire.
Yeah. And I don't know, because I know it was one of the local games and I had it on for a bit. Indy against Philly played with some fire. Like I
missed the end. They were up the whole game. And Philly scored at the end to win it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Pittsburgh has played a tad better. I don't think 2.5 is too much for Indy at home. So I'll take the Colts.
Okay. I want to take the Colts so bad because of Saturday. Like, I wish it would have won last week. I want them to win going forward because I just want Saturday to be like, shut the fuck up of everyone. Like,
sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think Pittsburgh's playing really well right now. So I'm getting 2.5 points. I'm taking the 2.5 points.
Yeah.
I'm trying to ride this underdog trend.
Got it.
Oh. All right. What do you got for DFS?
Yeah. I've got a pick for Thursday, which just kind of represents all three. And now I'm forgetting the guy's first name, which I'm sure is shocking to everybody that's out there that listens to me forget people's names all the time. Hodgins, wide receiver for the Giants. Isaiah?
No fucking clue.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's 3,000 in the classic contests on DraftKings. He's going to get some time tomorrow. And I know he's kind of jumped out in terms of some of the information I've looked through. So I want to say it's Isaiah Hodgins, and he's 3,000.
I'm checking right now.
Yeah. And now watch his name be like Tom.
Hodgins, not Hodges, Hodgins.
Isaiah
Hodgins,
yeah. 3,000. So you get a guy who I think is going to get some volume in terms of targets and things. And so I like him tomorrow in that Giants-Cowboys game, which I think we're going to see the ball in the air quite a bit there. Going into the main slate Sunday, quarterback, obviously Mahomes makes some sense, but given the spread, they could get up. So I'm going to go Tua at home against Houston. At running back, we're going to get in a way back. We're going to go on the time machine, and we're going to go Latavius Murray at running back for the Broncos on Sunday. And then at wide receiver, Garrett Wilson for the Jets. Again, I think you're going to be surprised. Mike White at quarterback, he can play. And he's going to be way better than Zach Wilson. So I like Garrett Wilson to take advantage of that.
All right, I'm going to give you a pick for each game tomorrow. We're going to go Gabriel Davis over 54.5 receiving yards. We are going to go, Maher, the kicker for Cowboys, over 1.5 field goals. Maher.
Sure.
And then we are going to go Kirk Cousins over 20.5 pass completions on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Ever since I've talked about how good my prize picks have been, they have fucking sucked.
Yeah, well, that's why you just can't. If you talk about it, it's immediately going to tank. So, yeah, lesson learned.
Yeah. All right, you sticking around here for the whole weekend and everything? Are you guys traveling?
Yeah, we're running down to Chrissy's mom's tomorrow just for the afternoon, and then hanging out for the weekend. No plans. So, how about you?
We're around. I got to fucking work Friday, Saturday, so fuck my life.
Yeah, Black Friday. Yeah.
Shoot me. All right. Got anything else? Nothing, we're good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah, you too. See you soon.
Talk. All right. See ya.
Later.
Bye.